What up? What it do, people? I'm back at you again, man. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me go and do this. I did promise you all that you type in your questions and I will give you a response on video. So we're going to get into this program right now. This one is from Rosita Martin, I believe it is, and it's about a medical abuse. She wanted to know what is it really about, and she basically responded to that and answered that question already, but I'll touch on that a little bit too, and then I'll move on to the next one because we have 4 videos to do, and I'm going to continue to do them until there's no more questions or I feel like there's no need for me to even respond to something. So back to the medical abuse. Yeah, the medical abuse system is a lot of different how can I say branches of things that are taking place here, which is basically from your doctors to certain pharmaceutical companies to nurses to elderly abuse, and why they are not being sought and why they're not being investigated. Well, the simple solution, basically the answer to that question is, when you have a system that is so big like that, you have a system that is so corrupt, inside and around a system that is failed and corrupt, and a community that goes on abuse. There's so much that we as people don't know about how our elders who get stuck in these homes, these senior citizen homes, and they are, neglected. They're, what I mean, false diagnosed. They're so much other stuff. And then there's the part of the medical abuse that goes on with being targeted by certain individuals. That's a whole nother program of this government. I don't like really using conspiracy, though, even though it's a legal term and it is a factual term, but they always use it in the term of discrediting someone. Oh, there's another conspiracy theorist and stuff like that. So I try to stay away from the conspiracy, but the long arm of this program of the corruption and the abuse that takes place in the medical field as well. So it's almost sort of like the same system you have with the law enforcement, the legal system. You have your police, you have your prosecutors, you have your judges, and you have your lawyers. And all those systems, in all these systems that I'm going to mention to you, and the two that I just mentioned, as far as the medical field and the law enforcement field and things such as that, they're all kind of connected under a system of white supremacy as well. And they're all under a structure of organized crime where each one kind of helps each other, cover up certain abuse, for different reasons. Some may be financial, some may be the risk of the image of their whole program that they're going on, or that company, or that nursing home, or that doctor's office, or hospital, so forth. But to touch on that, Miss Martin, that's basically sums it up a little bit right now on that time I have to give you, because, like I said, there's so many different arms under that, because you, like I said, you have your doctors, you have your nurses, and then you have, your specialists, and then you have your caregivers, and things such as that. So you have your administrators, and then all, common sense tell you they all work together in so many ways, but you can't discount the fact of human error, the heart. Some people are just naturally gonna not be with certain things that take place at certain companies, and that's anywhere in the workplace, in any field. So, but back to the medical, I'm trying to stay on topic of that right now, because I have a lot that I'm going to get into on the other subjects, which all of these are going to be tied in together. So it just basically, it's things that we have to do. We have advocacies, we have groups who go in and visit certain patients, but the abuse that is really taking place could all be fixed in certain ways and on certain levels. You're never going to satisfy everybody. You're never going to stop crime completely. You're never going to stop a rapist, what I'm saying, complete the whole rape. That's not going to happen. There's going to always be somebody out there who's not fit, who's incompetent in so many ways to be dealing with the position that they're dealing with. And they're going to take advantage of the system. And, a lot of these people who get away with these type of medical abuse, the doctors, obviously, they're very educated. But just because you're educated doesn't mean you don't have a problem. Majority of the psychopaths out here, the majority of the people who are out here that are actually getting away with a lot of these crimes and not are connected there, just because they have a brain. You know, they're smart. They're very professional about some things, and they just make mistakes like anybody else. But their system is set up though for when those people that they are involved with in the medical field who covers up these crimes of abuse, who picks and choose which crimes they want to prosecute, who's victim and who's not, what the overall best for the whole industry, this whole system, or this that. It's just so many levels that I would have to spend probably a good hour trying to break it down to you. So bear with me here. Let me get back. Okay, relax a little bit. So I'm gonna give you as much time as I possibly can until it beeps me off on the medical abuse, and this is pertaining to Mrs. Rosita Martin's question that she asked on our group. So another thing about this is when you're dealing with the medical field, you have a group of people out here who are basically going to never get the type of medical treatment that they basically deserve in their communities. And what we don't hear reported is about the abuse that takes places in the rich people's community because they have enough money, they have enough influence to cover up a lot of things like that. And then it goes into the overall picture of what the psychological warfare is taking place with white supremacy and the racism in this country, in America. So, and then there's the greed factor. Never wipe out the greed factor. But you best believe there's people who are in control over all of this greed. You're gonna always have some people who slide through the cracks, who make a little money, who just did some stupid things and got caught up. Those are the ones you're seeing who are being prosecuted. And you might see on TV. They'll use them as basically a tool to show the rest of society that yeah, they're stepping up on these type of crimes, this type of system to make it better, and they'll show you their statistics. But in actuality, though, there's a lot that's taking place that if you really knew the real statistics of the elder abuse, of the children abused, of the doctors who are really out here experimenting on people, who are just not giving you the best medical attention you could possibly get, but to be in a so-called great country where all your tax dollars are going to. So you may think you're paying for this good insurance and everything, but you still got a crazy doctor because this is the stuff that they've been taught in their school. It's like they say, systematic. So when you have a system that is so built like this, that has been building and building in about 30 or 40 years advance as each year goes by to the average citizen. So you know what I mean? They're getting more advanced in covering up their crimes and covering up their medical abuse and finding ways to also make money and finding ways to get around this to me fraudulent system. So there we have that. I did promise you 10 minutes, and we're getting down to one. So if there's any more questions on that one, Miss Rosita Martin, you can go ahead and text me, and we can continue the subject on this on the actual Facebook group page, our Black Panther Party group page. So I appreciate your question, and thank you. And I'll be doing this for as long as I possibly can until they, assassinate me and or discredit me, which that's fine. So, if you stupid enough not to, investigate your topics and your subject of what somebody's telling you, especially your enemy, especially this government, when you know they're lying, then that's your fault for believing it. I'm better off without you. Our community is better off without you anyway, because you could sell everybody out and cause a lot of things to happen that is not good, and this what's continue this ignorance amongst our people and other people as well. But it goes deeper than that, people. But all power to the people. One.